Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new writing vlog. So it's been a hot minute since I uploaded a writing vlog. I don't even know when the last one I uploaded was. October 3rd. So it's been nearly 2 months, closer to 2 months when this actually goes up than when I'm filming it. That's wild. And once again, I'm in a situation where I've been working on something and just haven't shared anything about the process, which happened earlier this year. So I did do a writing update recently, so if you missed that, I'll make sure to link that up above in the cards for you to check out, because it kind of fills the gap from my last writing vlog to kind of what I'm working on now. But still, a lot has happened even since that writing update, which was also like almost a month ago. So I am working on draft 3 of my book, What You Mean to Me. It's my Starstruck inspired book, and I've not updated about any of this process. So since I last talked to you in the writing update, I've obviously started draft 3 of Wim Tim, but there's a lot of prep work to, you know, lead me into starting this new draft. So last month, in October, I did do a reread of draft 2. I went over my beta reader notes and I came up with a revision plan. So this month has kind of been an extension of that, continuing on with that work. So I was brainstorming how to fix the problems that my beta reader brought up to me, trying to figure out ways to incorporate things into the story, expand upon things, deepen some parts. And I also wanted to create a new outline of sorts, a new game plan going into draft 3, and to do that I utilized Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel by Jessica Brody. I used this earlier in the year when I was outlining my adult rom-com, even though that's an adult book and this is for young adult novels specifically, but I had just gotten this book in the mail, so I was looking at some parts of it because this does expand upon the original Save the Cat Writes a Novel, which I just have sitting over there. These are my favorite writing tools, and I really enjoyed Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel. I didn't read all of it because I don't need to read every single example for genres that I'm not writing and things like that, but I've pretty much read this entire thing, annotated it, so it's just chock full of stuff. I don't know how well you can see that, but this was super helpful in outlining draft 3 and figuring out everything. So if you've not yet checked out Save the Cat Writes a Novel, or specifically Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel, which just came out this year, then I do recommend it. It is such a good writing tool. But I read some of this to help me with the outline. So yeah, I wrote a new outline and I've started doing revisions. So in my writing update, I talked about what my kind of revision game plan was, and I did say that I might not do it this way, but this is how I want to do it right now. And whenever I say that, I never do it the way that I say I'm gonna do it. So I wanted to tackle things bit by bit. So tackle some of the larger things first, the things that would have the most ripple effects, the things that kind of just affected other things the most, and then I would go in and do the smaller / easier things, the things that didn't cause as many ripple effects. And I should have known that this is not how I revise, and it's never been how I've revised, and it does not work for me. If you've watched my How I Revise My Novels video, which I will link somewhere for you to check out, I typically have the previous draft open up on one side of my computer, and then I have a blank document open up on the other side, and I will just copy and paste paragraph by paragraph, I'll go through every paragraph, and then just add new things in as I go. My whole idea with doing things bit by bit, it was a good idea. Lots of people revise that way, and I've had many intentions to revise that way, but my intent with that was so that I wouldn't get overwhelmed with everything that I had to change and I wouldn't forget something, or I don't even know. But the way that I approach revisions is I always have an outline that details every specific thing that I need to add at specific points, and that's just how I've always done it. And so me trying to not do that and just have like the full like book in a document and then trying to like piece things together inside of the already existing draft, it just doesn't work for me. That confuses me more than if I were to just paragraph by paragraph put it in. So I did try to do it. I went in first with the focus of fleshing out my main character's parents more and giving them more of a presence in the story, but I just don't like it, because if I'm struggling with that one scene, that I'm trying to draft now and add into the book. If I'm struggling with it, then I just end up not writing very much, and I don't think that's a very productive way for me to work, and I'm not feeling very motivated to begin with. So I think that I need to revert back to my original way of revising that I know works for me. But that leaves me in a bit of a pickle because I was in the middle of a scene that I was rewriting, and I was doing that in a separate document because I had to like rework the entire scene because the original one felt too passive, I guess you could say. Like there was not a whole lot of like action happening. There was like no dialogue in the scene, and I wanted to change it to have a more active conversation, just to be more active in general, because it did involve my male main character Christopher and his mom, and I wanted to kind of fix that scene a little bit because the way that she was kind of acting didn't really sit right with me with how she acts in the rest of the book, and I wanted to build upon that more and adjust it to make it better. So I was doing that in a separate document. So it's not done. So I think the game plan for today, it's November 21st, is I'm gonna go in and finish that scene, and then I'm gonna somehow revert back to my original way of outlining and just start again from the beginning of the book and go from there. And I think that's the game plan for today. My camera battery is dying, so I do have to go, but that's what I'm gonna work on right now. Hopefully it goes well. I don't remember how much longer I have of this scene that I was working on, so I think I'm gonna reread it to see what I have done and then try to finish it as quickly as I can so that I can kind of go back to the rest of the book. And even if it's not perfect, like I will reach this scene again fairly soon. It's quite early on in the book. So this is the new plan. I hope you guys are excited for a new writing vlog. Let's get to work. I have not written in a few days, so it's time to get back into some revisions. Okay, so it's been I think a week-ish since I last actually updated this vlog. My bad. I don't know why I've been so awful at updating writing vlogs this year and just not doing them. I've literally uploaded the least amount of writing vlogs that I've ever uploaded in a very long time, and I hate that for me, and I hate that for us. So I'm gonna try to be better. I'm gonna try so hard to be better, especially the new year. I don't know how much better I'm gonna be for the rest of this year, but at least for next year I'm gonna try to be better. So it's now November 28th, but we're gonna pretend like it's still the 27th because it's only 12:30 in the morning on the 28th, and I've not been writing super consistently. When was the last time that I wrote besides today? The last time I wrote was the 23rd, and I don't even think I did all that much. I don't know, I've been struggling a lot. I don't know what the official last thing that I like properly updated you guys about was. Maybe it was like me starting over from the beginning of the draft. So I'll just recap everything. I've started over in the revisions from the beginning of the draft, and it's working a lot better for me so far. I'm still going slowly, but I think that this is just how I need to revise. So I've started from the beginning. I am looking at my revision outline and seeing the things that I wanted to implement, and I'm just implementing whatever I come across, and it seems to be going okay. I'm not really worrying about most of the like line level prose. If I'm really struggling on something, or if I'm taking a long time to work on something, then I just focus on getting the specific revision notes in and not specifically worrying about each line, because I think what I might do is I might go back through the entire draft after implementing all of these like new things, and at that point I will do some line level editing. I know that like you really shouldn't do line level edits until you have like all of your big edits done, but I sometimes just can't help myself and I just do it anyway. But honestly, I'm not really cutting anything, and so me doing line level edits isn't really like that big of a deal because I'm not really concerned with deleting things. I'm more concerned with the fact that I need to add a bunch of stuff. So anyways, I'm trying not to worry about it too much now. Like if I'm trying to fix up a paragraph but I can't figure out a way to word something better or whatever, then I just leave it as is and I move on. There's been a couple of instances of that where I've tried to rewrite a paragraph and I just can't seem to get the wording right. So I just leave it at what I have and I can come back to it, because maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, or maybe something better will come to me when I return to it. So I'm not worrying about that too much. I just finished chapter 5. I've done 2 chapters today and I think I might try to do at least one more. I still want to get some reading done today because, like I said, the month is like almost over and I still have a couple of things I need to read. But I like the edits that I've done today. The revision notes that I had were not too intensive. One chapter didn't have like any specific like things to add in, so I just kind of went over it briefly, copied and pasted some things in there and did some easy line level edit type stuff. But chapter 5 did have some things that I needed to do. I needed to fix up the beginning of it and then add in some like tension, or like turn something from Christopher's inner monologue into like an actual proper like conversation between him and this other character. And I think it's okay. I think that maybe I can make it better if I were to like really sit here and work on it, or like when I come back to it another time. But it's better than it was. For sure, it's definitely better than it was. Also, one of Kaylee's notes, and I think we even discussed this before I even wrote the first draft of the book, but one of her notes and something she mentioned was she would like to see the incorporation of song lyrics into the book, because this is obviously a very music heavy book. The main character is a huge like pop star and used to be in a band with my other main character's best friends, so music is like a huge part, and we do see him performing a couple of times and we see him mention specific songs, but we never saw like lyrics from those songs. And I think when I was first brainstorming and outlining the book, or coming up with the idea for the book, I think I mentioned to Kaylee that I wanted to include lyrics, but lyrics are basically like poetry, right? And I hate poetry. Like, I'm not good at it. It was never my favorite thing to do in like English class or anything, and I haven't done poetry since high school. So I'm a little rusty on the rhyming and the fun and the poetry, the meaningful, deep stuff. Like, I'm a little rusty on that because I've not, you know, worked that muscle in like 5 years. So I ended up not including it in the first or the second draft. But she read it and she was like, I think this could benefit from the inclusion of some lyrics, and I do agree with her. So recently, I don't know when, I brainstormed some lyrics for a couple of the specific songs that are mentioned and that we see him performing, and today I wrote some new ones for a song that he's performing. So I actually did add something into chapter 4 that I was not planning on adding, which was some lyrics. So I added some lyrics in chapter 4 and I added some lyrics in chapter 5. So the chapter 4 ones I came up with today on the spot, and they're actually not bad. They're not awful. They're not the best. But Kaylee is the queen of song lyrics, and if you guys did not know, her debut novel, The Last Love Song, is coming out in April and is up available for pre-order. So I'll link like the Goodreads down below for you guys to go check it out, and maybe even a couple of shopping links, because it is so good. I reread it recently and was just like reminded by how brilliant Kaylee is. She has a lot of song lyrics in that book and they are so good. So I'm hoping that I can come up with like basics of some lyrics and get started on some lyrics, and then she has offered to help me with them because it's something that she really enjoys. So I'm hoping that she will be able to help me bring them to the next level at some point. But I did add some lyrics, which I'm happy about, and I think there will be at least one more instance where I add specific lyrics into a scene. So that's what's been happening. The next chapter is just another tension building moment where I want to add in some more dialogue between the two characters, because this is the first scene that we are actually seeing the two main characters interact, and I just think it needs to like be stronger than it currently is. I also do know that one of Kaylee's notes as well was to add in some sort of like a dual timeline situation, or like flashbacks, or incorporating like blog posts or something from Maisie, kind of documenting the past with Christopher and the band that he was in, just to kind of give a bit of backstory and to kind of show them together, just to kind of tie everything together, and to give the reader a chance to see them how they were before, since this is like a second chance romance. And I do agree, like I love reading second chance romances where you see them together beforehand and you see them like trying to find their way back to each other. I still don't know how I want to go about doing that, so that might be something that I focus on in the next pass. I don't know if that's going to be this year because I don't know what I want to do yet, and I honestly haven't given it any thought until right now. And this is a super long clip, I'm so sorry. I just feel like I have so much to say, and if I just updated more often I wouldn't have such lengthy clips. I apologize. But yeah, I don't quite know how I want to go about doing that yet. I might sit down and like test out 2 different things, like come up with something to write about and then just try it in different ways to see what feels best. But I don't think it would be something that would happen super often. Like I think it would just be sprinkled in here and there just to kind of add a little bit of context to their history together. I was really hoping to have this book fully, completely revised by the end of this year, like on to draft like 4 or 5, and that's just not happening, obviously, but a lot of that, most of that was out of my control. However, my work ethic this month was in my control, and that's on me. I just haven't been writing as much as I should have been. You know what? No, I'm gonna be nice to myself. It's been a very hard year, and you know what? It's okay that I did not get everything done that I wanted to get done to the extent of how I wanted it done. I'm still doing a second revision of this book this year. Like I did draft 2 earlier in the year, and now I'm doing draft 3, so that's still 2 drafts of this book this year, which is still really great. So I'm trying not to get caught up on the fact that it's not exactly what I wanted to do. Basically, end of year writing goal is just to finish this revision by the end of December, which I guess we shall see how that goes. I think I'm gonna try to do 1 more chapter, and then I might go do a little bit of reading. I'm also hungry, so I need to eat something. I have not eaten enough today. I'm so sorry for the lengthy clip. I love you guys. I'm gonna get some writing done. So I just did another chapter, which was chapter 6, and it went okay. I added, I think, a little bit more tension. I hope it came across the way that I wanted it to. I guess I'll find out when I go to reread it again eventually. But then I realized that the next chapter is the one that I just finished revising before I decided to go back through from the beginning instead. And then I just copied and pasted that in. I'm not gonna bother going over it since I literally just did it like a week or so ago, so I'm just gonna leave it and move on. But it's now 1 in the morning, so I think I'm done for the night. I have a concert tomorrow, so I don't think I'm gonna get any writing done tomorrow, because it probably will be a situation where I wake up, need to get ready, and then gotta leave because it's a general admission show. So this shorty over here needs to make sure she gets a good spot so that she can see. But I will try to return to this on Wednesday and return to vlogging, make sure I get some clips in. I feel good about the work that I did today. How many chapters did I do? I think I worked on 3, but then obviously added in this last chapter. That's more work than I've been doing recently, so there's that. And it looks like the next couple of chapters don't really have a whole lot of work. I think on Wednesday I will try to get a few chapters done, see how many I can do, maybe start earlier in the day. I was busy doing my bullet journal all day today, and it took me a lot longer than I was anticipating. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, so it's now December 4th. I don't know when I last updated this vlog, probably over a week ago. I have been in a weird rut all week where I haven't wanted to write anything, and I've also just been really busy and bad at time management. I've been waking up really late, and I've just had other things that have been taking up my time instead of writing, which is just, it's not great. So I need to do some writing. I have my writing goals listed out here for December. The big one, the main one, is I need to finish What You Mean to Me Draft 3. Like, it's getting ridiculous. This has taken me far too long to do. I'm gonna try really hard to finish it before the end of the year. And honestly, it feels kind of weird because normally I take a break from writing in December because it's my favorite month of the year and I usually just want to enjoy all of the Christmas vibes and not stress myself out too much. But because I've slacked so much this year, I am not letting myself take December off. I need to finish these revisions. So in a minute here, when I'm done this clip, I'm going to sit on my bed and put some records on because I'm in a record kind of mood, and I'm going to try to do some revisions. I would write at my desk, but honestly that area is kind of chaotic right now, so I don't really want to work in there. Plus I want to stare at my Christmas tree because I got a new Christmas tree this year and I love it, so I really want to sit in here and just look at my Christmas tree. Yeah, I don't even know if I updated you guys on my revisions the last time I did it. I honestly don't know, but I've been feeling low-key pretty shit about everything, so we're gonna see how today goes. It's raining outside really hard, so maybe that will add to the ambiance because I'll be sitting right beneath my window, so I'll be able to hear it nice and loud and clear. So I don't know, I'm hoping for good writing vibes today. The only other thing on my goals for the month that I may or may not get around to, but I was like, it feels silly to have a writing goals page and just write one little thing on it, because otherwise what the hell is the point of having a writing goals page, you know? It would feel like a waste of a page. So what I might get around to at some point this month is rereading my Christmas book that I wrote a couple years ago, all wrapped up. It was my plan to reread it last December, but I got COVID and didn't do a whole lot of anything. So I would like to reread it possibly this December and take notes for later revisions, because I don't plan on doing revisions for it literally anytime soon. Like, this book was mainly just for me to have fun. So I don't know, I might take notes, I might not, because now that I'm thinking about it, when eventually I do want to do revisions for it, I'm gonna need to reread it and take new notes anyway. So I don't know, we'll see the vibes. I might take some notes that could help me later on in the future if there's anything like super pressing, but honestly I just kind of want to read it just to remind myself what it's like, because I don't really remember it all that well, and I know it's a really bad draft. Like, it's a real bad draft. I just kind of want to see what it's like, read the Christmassy vibes, you know? I don't know. But obviously the main goal is finish What You Mean to Me Draft 3. So I'm going to tidy up a little bit in my room because I just filmed a video, so I've got books kind of sitting everywhere. And honestly, I was just telling my reading vlog that I need to do laundry at some point, like fold my laundry. I've had a clean basket of laundry on my bed for weeks now and I just haven't done anything with it. So I think what I might do is fold my laundry. I think I'm gonna do a quick tidy, and then I'm going to sit on my bed and do some cozy writing before dinner because it's currently 3:40. So that is the plan, and I will update you guys later. Okay, so it's a couple of hours later. I finished 3 chapters in the Whimton revisions, and they weren't like really difficult chapters. I wasn't changing too much about them, although there was something about this chapter that I was just doing that I wanted to try to incorporate something into, but in my outline I did say, like, I don't know if this conversation really fits here, but it could work, and I was agonizing over it, and I just don't think that at least right now I can find a way to include it. So I'm just gonna have to bring it up at a different point or come back to this later on. I don't know, normally I really love revisions, but I feel like I'm just really struggling right now with these revisions and just struggling in general with like self-confidence, and I'm just second guessing literally everything, which is like the last thing that you want when you're trying to like get shit done. Yeah, so I'm not having the best time, but the vibes in here I must say are immaculate. The Christmas tree lights, I was listening to some records, I listened to some really great ones. I listened to Faith in the Future by Louis Tomlinson, I listened to Sonder by Dermot Kennedy, and I listened to Dangerous Levels of Introspection by J.P. Sachs. It was just a fun time, but I'm pretty sure dinner is going to be ready any minute now, so I have not put another record on, and I think I'm actually going to stop here for the day just because I don't want to start a chapter and then have to stop in the middle of it if dinner's ready. And I think we're going to watch a Christmas movie after dinner, and then I do have some stuff that I need to get done, maybe some reading. I don't know. I'm happy with the 3 chapters that I've done today, especially since I've not really done anything for the past week. So any work that I could get done, I'm honestly pretty happy with. It's just these revisions are coming a little bit slower to me, which is unfortunate, but sometimes that's just the way it is. I'm doing my best. So I will probably, hopefully, get back to this tomorrow and make even more progress. The next couple of chapters don't really need too many things changed, just kind of prolonging one thing a little bit, just something happens too quickly, and then having to adjust the following chapters based on that. So I don't think it's going to be too difficult, and you know, the exciting things are starting to happen, and I'm excited, hesitantly excited. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Okay, so it's currently Wednesday, December 6th, and I feel like I've not updated in at least a day, but maybe even 2. I don't know. But I'm now on chapter 13 of my What You Mean to Me revisions. I don't know. I feel like I am not doing these revisions justice. Like, I'm just sitting there trying to get some work done, and I'm just like glossing over things. I don't know. I think I'm beating myself up about it unnecessarily, because I have it in my head that I'm doing everything all at once like I normally am, where like I'm tackling all of the issues simultaneously, going through the book in a chronological order, and so I feel like everything needs to be absolutely perfect, but I'm not remembering that like I'm not actually doing everything. I'm not supposed to be totally focusing on line editing, like that's not the main focus of this draft. Like, obviously if I, you know, see something glaringly wrong that I want to fix, or if I can think of a way to make something sound better, then I'm going to fix it. Okay, that's just the kind of writer that I am. I'm not going to just ignore every single line edit, because I know sometimes if an idea pops into my head, I might not think of it the next time I like go through the draft. So I just gotta do it when I think of it. But I don't know, I think just this entire year I've had a really difficult time feeling confident in my writing. And you know, it's one thing when you're drafting a book and I can tell myself, oh, like it's the first draft, like it's supposed to be garbage, this is how I always feel when I draft. It's harder when I do revisions, which is typically my favorite part of the process, and it's supposed to be getting better, but I don't feel like it is. So I'm definitely struggling with that a little bit. I just want to get through this draft, and hopefully it'll get to a place by the end that I feel okay with. I also don't know if the end of this draft is when I hit the last page in this like revision round, or if it's like me going back through and possibly adding in that, you know, flashback dual timeline element. I don't know. I think we're gonna just have to see at what point in the month I get to the end, and if there's still time, then maybe I'll go through and try to like add more things, change more things. Anyways, it's currently 3 o'clock. I think I'm gonna sit down in my bed again because my desk is still a mess, and I'm gonna try to get as much work done as I can. I'm gonna pop some records on, which is what I've been doing the past couple of days, and I've really been enjoying that. I might crank it up a little bit today. I've had to have it quieter because we're in much closer proximity in this house than we were in the old one, and so I don't want to piss off my sibling by blaring my music when they're right next to me, but they just went out, so I feel like I can blare it just a little bit. That is what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to listen to yet, but I'm going to figure it out, and I'm hopefully going to get a lot of work done. I also just realized I'm not wearing my rings, and now I feel naked, so I'm going to go put those on, and then I'll get some writing done. December 8th. I think I'm gonna end the vlog today just because, I don't know, it feels right. I feel like I have enough footage for this vlog, and it's been going on, I think long enough. It's been going on since November, so I think it's time to end the vlog today, but I still have some work to do. It's 3:40. I have done 1 chapter of revisions so far today. I didn't do anything yesterday. I don't even know the last time I updated the vlog. But I did just do one chapter, and this was a bit of a difficult one because earlier in the book, in the revisions, I changed something. Kaylee in her beta reader notes mentioned that this realization that my male main character has comes on a little bit too quickly, so I was trying to find a way to prolong it and kind of build it up a little bit more. I still don't think I've nailed it, but I took the like realization part out of the original chapter it was in, and adjusted it to something different, and I've just included in this last chapter that I did the realization coming to him now, later on in the book. And like I said, I still don't think it's perfect. I think I might need to sprinkle in a couple of other things. Maybe I'll like even add in a couple of lines. Give me a second, I have an idea. I don't know if what I just added was good or if it made any sense, but I'm just gonna keep it there. That way I know the idea that I had and I can go back to it in the next round if I feel like it and make it a little bit better. But at least it's there. So I've done one chapter today, and that was just a little bit of a tricky one, just trying to figure out how to integrate it in there, and I almost didn't know how I was gonna do it. Like, I'd reached the end of the chapter and I was like, I didn't include it and I don't know how I'm going to. The next two chapters don't really have anything extra that I'm adding, but I might just need to adjust a couple of things to match now this previous chapter and how the realization came onto him. Like, I might just need to make a couple of little adjustments. And then the chapter 18 has a little bit of a doozy that I need to figure out. Oh, I just realized I do need to try to add something into this next chapter. I guess I do need to add something into the next chapter specifically, but then there's nothing like huge until chapter 18 that will definitely cause some ripple effects going forward, which is just the best, you know? I love when you change a really tiny detail and then it just changes everything going forward. But yes, I'm probably going to try to do another couple of chapters. I'm going to try to work until dinner-ish. I don't know what we're doing for dinner today. I think we might be on our own because my parents have somewhere to be tonight, so we might be on our own for dinner tonight. But whenever I decide to have dinner, that is when I will stop writing. My grandma is coming to stay with us for the weekend, so I think I might watch a Christmas movie with her tonight, if she's up for it. It kind of depends on what time she gets here. I think I would like to get to the end of chapter 18. I don't know, I've been kind of slacking recently, like doing like 2 chapters a day, which like isn't bad. I would just like to do more because I would like to get this done sooner rather than later, you know, because I'd like to, you know, be able to take some days off at Christmas and feel okay about that. And I still want to reread my Christmas book, so we're gonna have to see. Okay, so it's now 5 p.m. and I don't even know what chapter I'm on. I just finished chapter 20. Oh my god, I'm so out of focus. I just finished chapter 20. In this chapter, had to take something from a much later chapter and bring it into this one, and that was so difficult, and I only was able to take a couple of lines, and I just know that's going to be such a headache when I get to that chapter trying to piece it all back together now that I've taken stuff out of it. But this thing that my male main character Christopher has to tell Maisie is it had to happen a lot sooner than I had it in originally. So I know this is bad. This is very much so first draft writing. There's like barely any descriptions, there's barely anything. It's just a lot of dialogue. I'm hoping that I can come back to it at some point and fix it, but for right now, that's what I have. So I did a couple more chapters than I meant to because I just really wanted to get this conversation done while I was like fresh and in the zone and thinking about it. Glad that I did that. Glad that it's done. I did, how many chapters did I do today? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did 6 chapters today. That's the most that I've done in a really long time. Maybe for this like revision in general. To be fair, I finally stopped like paying really close attention to like the line editing stuff, so the prose probably isn't as clean as it could be, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I will be going back over it eventually to do like more line editing things. I just really need to get like the bulk of these revisions down, and then I can worry about that later. So 6 chapters, that's crazy. I'm really proud of myself. Yay. Pat on the back, Brittany. So yeah, I do think I'm gonna end this vlog here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know how writing has been going for you recently. I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.